I saw a video recently by Fred again that literally blew my mind.
I've spent so many thousands of hours wasted on plugins and getting into the weeds and these things. Like, I would just say choose. I've made it so that my Logic, I've just got this one menu that just has the 8 plugins I use. It just doesn't matter. You want to do the things that liberate your mind to be hearing well, not whether or not this compressor or this compressor or this distortion and this distortion. The thing that's most dangerous about getting so into that is that you'll forget about whether or not the chorus is wrong, or like whether or not the chord progression actually is not serving the feeling right.
Did you get what he said? Too many tools is secretly killing your ability to finish tracks, and it has nothing to do with time, talent, or gear. It's your plugin folder. Because here's what nobody talks about. The more options you have, the less music you actually complete, and I can prove it. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear plan on how to remove all the unnecessary noise and actually finish more music. Hi, my name is Roy Akolo. I'm a professional music producer. I've made music for some of the biggest brands in the world, and I've helped over 1,000 of producers to become the producer they always wanted to be. Now, I want you to think for a second about the last time you sat down to make music. How long did it take before you were actually making something versus just browsing, scrolling through presets, opening 3 different synths, trying to decide if the bass should be Serum or Massive, or that new one you grabbed from a sale 2 weeks ago that you haven't even learned yet? That's not a workflow. That's a shopping mall, and you're just wandering around in it. I've talked to a lot of producers, and the pattern is almost always the same. Hundreds of plugins, thousands of presets, and the project folder full of ideas that are all sitting somewhere between 30% and 60% done. That's what happens when your brain has too much decisions to make before it can even get to the music. Today I want to make a case, a real one, for why deleting most of your plugins might be the single best thing you do for your output this year. There's a concept in psychology called decision fatigue. The basic idea is this: every decision you make costs mental energy, and you only have so much of it. Make enough small decisions early in the session, and by the time you get to the stuff that actually matters, the arrangement, the emotion of the track, whether the drop actually hits, you're already tired. Now think about what happens when you open your DAW. You pick a tempo, you pick a key, you pick a synth, but wait, which one? You browse presets, you find one that's almost right. You start tweaking. Then you wonder if a different synth will get you there faster. So you open that one. Then you compare them. And you can't decide. And you duplicate the track just in case you've been working for 45 minutes. You have a kick, a bass that isn't quite right, and 4 plugin windows open. That's the decision tax. And a bloated plugin library is basically a text multiplier. Here's the fix. Constraint. When you limit your options on purpose, your brain stops shopping and starts creating. It has no choice. And weirdly, the music usually gets better because you stop looking for the perfect tool and start figuring out how to make the tools you have actually work. Now I want to talk about why we buy plugins in the first place. And I'm going to be honest here because I fell into this hard. You hear a sound in a track you love and your brain does that thing that goes, oh, if I just had that sound, my music would sound like that. So you buy the synth or you grab it in a splice sale for $29 per month because that's basically free, right? And for about 48 hours, you're excited. You open it, you mess around, it's cool. Then it joins the pile. Here's the thing nobody says out loud. Buying a plugin feels like progress. It feels productive. It scratches the same itch as actually finish something, but it doesn't require any of the hard work. It's creative procrastination dresses up as investment in your craft. And the industry knows it. The whole plugin market is built on selling you the feeling of possibility. Every new tool is another version of this is the one that will finally make it click. But finishing tracks doesn't come from possibility. It comes from constraint, repetition, and pushing through the parts where the track sounds bad before it sounds good. A New River plugin has never once helped anyone survive bar 24 of an arrangement. So what actually happened when you strip it back? Here's what I've seen, both in my workflow and from watching my students go through this process. First, your sessions start faster, like noticeably faster. When you have 5 synths instead of 50, you stop browsing and you start building. You've already made the which synth decision before you even opened your DAW. Second, you get better at the tools you actually keep. This is the one that surprises people. When you force yourself to use one compressor, really use it on everything for months, you start to hear it. You develop instincts. You stop watching YouTube tutorials and start trusting your ears. That's not a limitation. It's called getting good. Third, and this is the big one, you stop using "I need to find the right sound" as a reason to not finish. Because the sound is already chosen. You've already decided. So the only thing left is the actual music, the arrangement, the dynamics, the moment where the track either works or it doesn't. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's the only place where real growth happens. A lot of producers are unconsciously using their plugin library as a shield between them and that discomfort. If you're always hunting for the right tool, you never have to sit with the track and ask, is this actually good? Cut the library down. Force yourself to sit with that question. That's where you start finishing things. All right, now let's talk some practical stuff. Here's how I would approach it. Step 1. Audit. Don't delete, not yet. So I'll go to my favorite folder inside your DAW and I'll start removing stuff, but I won't remove them completely. So if you're not using favorites yet inside your DAW, this is the time to start using it. Now I want you to create some categories like EQs, effects, reverb, delays, synth, and add only the stuff you're literally using in every production. That's it. Now, if you already have some favorites, I want you to start removing stuff, but you don't have to remove them completely. You can move them into an unused folder. Okay, so I'll go through my synths. And let's say this one, I don't even remember which one is that. So I'll just move it to my unused folder and I'll delete it from the synth folder and I can see it here. So I'll go through all of my list and just start removing stuff. Now what I'll do, I'll build a template that every time I open Ableton, I have a default set that has that sounds. So for example, here I have a kick and I can put a sample in it that I know it's a good kick and I won't have to choose a kick every time. And my sub bass, here I have the basic sub signed by Ableton, which is great. Okay, and I can even take it further and choose a lead sound and just drop here the lead that I like, or a pad sound and drop the synth that I like. Then I'll go into File and Save Live Set as default set, and I'll give it a name. And then every time I open Ableton, it will open this set. So I won't have to look for the stuff. I already have them. Now your brain can stop making those early decisions because they're already made. Your cognitive energy goes directly into the music. And step 3, give it 30 days. Don't tweak the template. Don't add stuff back in because this track really needs that specific chorus plugin. Push through. See what you make when your options aren't there. Most producers who do this are shocked at how much more they finish. Not because they become more talented, but because they remove the thing that was quietly stalling them at the start of every session. Constraints don't kill creativity, they focus it. So, if any of this resonated, the plugin hoarding, the half-finished projects, the feeling that you're always one more tool away from being ready, that's not really a gear problem. That's a finishing problem. And it's actually pretty fixable once you understand what's causing it, which is kind of what I build a community around. I've built a free community where I'll show you how to finish your first track in a month, even if you're just starting out or you've been doing this for years but haven't finished any tracks yet. Click the link below to join. Now look, none of this requires you to throw your hard drive out the window. You don't have to go full minimalist. You don't have to leave off free plugins and a dream, but I would seriously challenge you to try it for 30 days. Build a lean template, start a project for me tomorrow. See what happens when decision fatigue isn't burning through your energy before the music even starts. If this video made you think differently about your setup, like and subscribe because this is the kind of stuff I keep coming back to. Now go make some music.